for the Unity North Band. A little moon dance on a Sunday morning. How are we doing today? Excellent. There is some fantastic energy in the room. We're going to take that energy. No need to lose the energy. We're just going to take it into a moment of prayer as a community. So let's take a moment to take a deep breath. And on the exhale, we hold on to all the positivity of that energy that we just shared with each other. Today, our request is for openness, an open mind, and an open heart, for us to be open vessels. Because today, there is joy to be shared. Today, there is wisdom to be received. Today, there is love to emanate from the very center of our being. Today, there can be healing. So with our open minds, our open hearts, we remain a vessel for joy, for love, for wisdom. We become a conduit for our own healing, for each other's healing, for the healing that the world needs and is in the process of because of the joy, the love, and the wisdom that we intend to access starting in this very moment. And in that, together we say, Amen.
Thank you, Danielle. So beautiful words. Thank you for the heart, the spirit. In this moment, everything that we're seeking is available. Do you believe that? Many of us have come into this room seeking something. That something is right here available. And it may be to the person to the left or the right, but it's here as we walk each other home. Let's know this with those who are online. Welcome to our community. Welcome to this moment. We're going to invite you to stand up and do this opening song. It's kind of a moving song, so get your body involved in the process. Get your hands involved as we sing. We walk the path of love and a path of grace. We walk the path of service and a path of faith. The path of spirit, the path of Mother Earth. We walk the path of peace now, and a path of rebirth. Come on, raise it up, Unity. As we walk all these paths, we know we're not walking alone. With everybody in every place. Now sing it, Unity. Welcome to each and every one of you. Thanks for being part of our home, part of our heart. We value you just as much as anybody in the room. Thanks so much for taking the time to tune in, whether it be Sunday or during the week. You are family, and welcome. all these paths, we know we're not walking alone. With everybody in every place now. Everyone is walking home. Everyone is walking home. Everyone is walking home. Put a tag on everybody. Everyone is walking home. Give yourselves a round of applause. You sound amazing.
Thank you, Unity North, for reminding each other that this is home. Whether we're here for the 100th time or the first time, this is just a beautiful community and wonderful place to be. And right now, our welcome team is coming forward to welcome people who may be here for the very first time. Their job, folks, is literally in their name. They are here to welcome you with a smile on their face and love in their hearts. They have welcome packets in their hands, and those welcome packets have a Let's Connect card. And we would love for you to fill that out with the pen in the seat pocket in front of you, or scanning in the QR code and doing so digitally, but we would love to stay connected with you. So right now, we're gonna pour a little peace and love into your hearts. So if it is your first time here at Unity North, we would love if you would just raise your hand from right where you are so that we can love on you a little bit. So we've got some hands in the air. We should hear some hands applauding, some love shining. Let's keep our hands up until we get a welcome packet in your hands. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And please know that after service, you are welcome to stay even longer. We have fellowship downstairs in Holy Grounds, but we also have a welcome table just for you. So if it is your first time today, or maybe it's you're new-ish, right? You missed it the first go-round, well, come on down to the newcomers table downstairs in Holy Grounds. We would love to have you and share some more love with you, because that's what we've got, lots and lots of love. You might be wondering who these special people are around the room wearing prayer shawls. They are our prayer chaplains on duty this morning. They are holding us in sacred space, sacred love and light. So if you feel a little bit more love and light this morning, say thank you to a prayer chaplain, whether you are anywhere across the world or in this room. So thank you to Michael, to Lorelei, to Nancy, and to Nita for not just showing up, but showing up with love and showing up with a positive energy that we can all feel and take with us throughout the week. They're available for prayer request before and after service, so don't be afraid to approach one of them and take some time to have some one-on-one prayer. So with that love and energy, we move into a very special time in our service, and it must be it's announcement time. It is time where we take this love and this energy and we celebrate all of the awesome things that are happening in this community. So let's get it started. So today is the first day for group signups. We've talked a lot about host signups. Thank you for everyone that signed up to be a host and picked some really exciting topics. Now it's time for us to pick the groups that we would like to be in. So make sure that you either scan that QR code or go online or check the app and see what some of these amazing topics are. Spiritual Connections starts October 6th. The signups start today. In our next announcement, we have World Day of Prayer coming up very soon. It's happening this week. So on Wednesday, we have the opening ceremony. Thursday is the closing ceremony. This is a beautiful time for us to stay centered in prayer, but also a reminder that every time we do something, we need a little bit of help to get it going. So after service, we're going to be stacking all of these chairs so that we can get ready for this beautiful, beautiful time of prayer. And Richard, did you want to add anything? All right, here we go. So World Day of Prayer, remember Wednesday, going through until Thursday. You can get more information in the app. In our next announcement, we have our Pura Sharana gathering. Please forgive. I know I'm saying it wrong. I just don't know how to say it.
It took me only 3 months to learn to pronounce it correctly. Pura Sharana.
Puraskarana. Let's all say that together. Puraskarana. And now you have to go. So on Monday, September 23rd, everyone who said it will be on Zoom at 7 o'clock. So again, a wonderful time to take our practice that we have been diligently working on, our Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, that becomes more than just words. It becomes part of us, part of how we see the world. And this is a time where we can dig in even deeper as a community. Monday, September 23rd, you know how to say it, and now you be there. And our last announcement, we are having a tax smart giving workshop. Now, we know we say taxes and people groan, and it's September, it's not April, but let's get a head start on this, right? So this is an opportunity to learn some more about something that a lot of us don't like, but also learning about giving through our taxes. And there are very important ways that we can do that are easy, and they don't have to be complicated. So on September 29th, we're gonna be talking about that at 1 o'clock in the Peace Chapel. Encourage you to come and learn more about that. So right now, we're not going to talk about taxes anymore, but we are going to talk about a beautiful soul in our community named Carly Lyon. Now, Carly will be singing this amazing song called Global Remedy, right? Kind of need that in the world right now. So really dig into those lyrics as she's singing. Carly's such a beautiful spirit. This is my first time meeting her in person, and you can just tell the positive energy that just emotes from her naturally. She is a teaching artist. She has been in Cobb for about 13 years, and her family are new members to Unity North. So let's give a little bit of love for our new member coming up to sing Global Remedy. So as Carly is coming up, as we're looking at this service and we've opened our hearts to love and to wisdom and to healing, we'll really, again, dig into those lyrics and knowing that they are so timely and so relative to this message. So once again, Carly Lyon.
So excited to be here today. All right, so this is an original song called Global Remedy, and I hope that it resonates with you. Even those that once divided will come together in the end. Quiet voices sing the river into sunlight, and I bathe the baby again. Boiling ginger on the fire, up the wire while the words move the water on her skin. Old and young, fast and slow, my matryoshka doll holds it all while I hold you. What I've made is my global remedy. I'm the change when I'm tired and alone. I'm the child when I'm holding myself inside, naked and ready to come home. Naked and ready to come home. To come home, to come home, come on home. These days my demons drown me, only in my sleep and I wake happy. Without that version that thought for me daily, haven't seen that face in a while. I was tumbled on high, heat for too long in my own man-made machine. The yellow doll, the center of it all, and I'm not shrinking down, and I'm not puffing up. I'm the change when I'm tired and alone. I'm the child when I'm holding myself. Inside, naked and ready to come home. Naked and ready to come home. To come home. Come on home. Come on home. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm ready to be wrong. I'm ready to be wrong. Thanks for listening.
Carly. So glad you and your family found this church home, and so glad you shared with your heart and your spirit and your original music today. You know, as I prepared for the message this morning, there were a couple of lines in Carly's song that just absolutely made me go a whole different direction with the talk. So I'm going to invite you to go with me today, to spontaneously go where perhaps nobody's gone before, or perhaps everybody's gone before, but we just don't talk about it. Are you willing to do that? There are a couple of lines in that song that I really want you to hold close. I really want you to take them personally. And the first is, willing to be wrong. I'm willing to be wrong. How many of you sitting here today are willing to suspend anything you've ever been taught, anything you've ever believed, anything that ever somebody told you was true and you took on as your own, to suspend all that for the greater truth to be downloaded? This takes a great deal of spiritual maturity, doesn't it? Maturity, but that's the very portal and avenue through which evolution happens. It's the very method through which we become more. The very method that we come home, as the song said, closer to our divine selves, closer to the essence of God that maybe we have forgotten. It is the very portal for growth. And the second line is one that it just made me sing, made my heart sing. I'm naked and ready to come home. Now, I'm not going to ask anybody to get naked today. At least not physically. I would let you clear the house real quick with this body. But I'm asking you to get spiritually naked, completely authentic, totally real, transparent, open, with a willingness to change at depth by living into the unknown, by living into the mystery as the very method of returning home to that which maybe we have forgotten. Because that's what it takes. We have to be more vulnerable with each other. Otherwise, we're standing on our pretense. We're standing on old paradigms, and we are putting up the very blocks that are in the way of us creating intimacy. I don't know what anybody's going to say. I'm asking you to get naked so we can have intimacy. But there might be something to that, to stand spiritually unburdened with anything that you've ever believed that's blocking you from finding the greater capacity to know oneness. Hold on to all these thoughts today as the foundation of the house that I want to build today. Hold on to them. I will refer to them often. A few weeks ago, I was in Europe and went travel with about 20 people from our church. And that trip to Europe, I heard so many amazing stories, wonderful stories. Tour guide after tour guide after tour guide in every city offered wonderful history. From the easily believable to the completely unbelievable. Anybody ever heard a story that there was no way in hell that it was true? You may have heard it just yesterday with somebody you were sharing a story with. You may be telling a story in the mirror someday to yourself, and it's completely unbelievable and untrue, but we keep telling it, don't we? We keep speaking it. They offered history in such a way that I found myself absolutely in a judgmental place. I was judging the human ignorance that would have, in these ancient times, believed these stories and taken it on as the narrative that drives the planet today. So I'll own it. I was completely judgmental about the narrative. Found myself judging those who blindly accepted truth without putting it to the test. Until the last tour guide, perhaps the most knowledgeable of all the tour guides, said this: you know, when people don't understand something, they just make up a legend. They make up a legend and they call it the truth. In that moment, it was like the heavens opened wide. It was like, yes, that's exactly what she knew what was going on in my head. She claimed in full and complete transparency that throughout history, with mysterious happenings that we could not understand or explain, we made up a story. And it's easy to look at the narrative of religious teachings, but not so easy to look at the narrative that we have individually made up. She actually said people lied to fill in the blanks. In essence, she peeled all the layers of pretense and stood naked as a delivery method of a greater truth. She stood naked as the delivery method of a greater truth at a macrocosmic level. Perhaps we can take it at the microcosmic level and take the lesson and the learning on as our own. She asked us to do the same. Everybody on the tour, she says, I'm asking you to do the same thing. And at that moment, I became a heck of a lot less judgmental about human ignorance. And I became a heck of a lot more interested in the innate human need to make up stories to explain the unexplainable. Has anybody ever had somebody do something in your life that didn't make any sense to you? And then you went away and you made up a legend about it. The legend of the villain, the legend of the victim. You made up a story because you did not understand what was going on or how somebody could behave that way. You see, it happens at the macrocosm, it happens at the microcosm. And she asked us to suspend our thoughts and our judgments. She was crawling into my head because she knew I was judging the ridiculousness of some of the history. To understand the mystery, we make up stories, don't we? Let's be honest. Am I the only one in the room who does that? So it's not so much that these people were lying, but rather they were answering the innate human need to create meaning. You know, we learn in Unity that we are meaning-making machines. You know that? We're designed by our human ego, by the cells of our being and our walking the earth, to be meaning-making machines. And so we're constantly attributing things, facts, onto experiences that may or may not be true, that may have shaky history behind it, but we take it on as our own, and we claim it as our own. There's a part of all of us that needs to create meaning to everything. Why? Why is that? Anybody? Call it out. I want to hear from you. Why do we do that? I need stability. I got shaky ground. The mystery is shaky. Fear. I'm afraid of the unknown. I'm afraid of the mystery. And so I make up a story because it's comfortable, whether it's true or not. Somebody called something else out there. Who said it? Safety. Purpose. Oh, now we're getting, you read the notes, didn't you? It's because we're uncomfortable with the mystery. Yet this is the very place where God is found, where our divine essence is found, is in the mystery, so we make up a story. We are uncomfortable with not knowing. In essence, we are uncomfortable with getting naked. We are uncomfortable with being that open and that receptive and that vulnerable and that willing, so we make up a truth and we carry it as our story. So in that moment with the tour guide, I set all my judgments aside. I answered her call, and I set all the judgments aside, and I began to listen with my heart. And I became present to the legends that she was espousing. that I was hearing. It's something that maybe we should take on as our spiritual practice. To set aside any story that we're hearing, worried about whether it's true or not true, and gather and garner some good from it. The story that you're telling, Kimberly, I don't care so much that it's true or not true, but I care, is there meaning in that? Is there something holy? Is there something good? Is there something that two of us can learn where we can come closer to home? By suspending the judgment, by suspending the need to have it right or wrong, let's make it mean something holy. And so I overcame the need to know if what that tour guide was telling me was true or not, and I reaped some benefit from each of her stories. What are some of the benefits? That if we can do this practice, which sounds easy on paper, not so easy in reality, what are the benefits that you might get? Call it out. Peace. Connection. What a concept. We teach oneness. And if I can suspend my judgments, I can find a place of connection, a place of intimacy. Oh, that's scary, so let me live in my story. Let me put the clothes back on of my story about you, about your group of people, about people that think like you do, and I'm okay because I'm comfortable in my story. Anybody else? Clarity, awareness, wisdom, all of the above. Everybody gets a lollipop today. It was entertainment. Sometimes it's just pure, simple entertainment. Who wants to have a good time on this planet? And I found that when I suspended my judgment about the legends over here, that I could enjoy them simply as entertainment. And when there is entertainment and a suspension of things, suddenly there can be education. How many people have a corner on the market of truth? I'm glad you didn't put your hand up because I was going to call you out. There might be something to learn about myself, about the human race, about the earthly walk by suspending my judgments of right and wrong. Rumi said, beyond the field of right and wrong, there is a field. And that's where I want to meet you. I want to meet you beyond whether your myth is exactly the way it happened or didn't happen. And I want to meet you at the place of intimacy, of connection and harmony and peace. So in my desire to make my way home to truth, to oneness, to God, to an awareness of my divine self, I got to examine my own fish stories. Yes, it does happen. My own fish stories, my own myths. Now we're going to start to meddle a little bit, Joel. Sorry, I'm going to meddle a little bit today, but I'm going to own it first. I have been known to lean into the art of exaggeration. I didn't get any boos, so I guess I'm okay. Most ministers fill in the blanks with additional narrative. Why? To create meaning. To create some substance that makes your life a little bit better. And so, yes, it's not lying. No, it's not lying. But yes, it is stretching and blowing it up to the nth degree to make a point so there can be a greater unity, a greater connection. And I would submit to you today that probably 50%, and the first service told me I was being very conservative and generous, 50% of religion as we know it today has been the need of leaders to fill in the blanks. A good half, if not more, of the religious systems that are dotting the landscape of the earth today are all just made up. That changed the entire religious narrative of the planet and created a religious mythology that we know today. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? Is it a bad thing? It depends on the consciousness behind the narrative. It depends on the intention behind the narrative. It's indicative of our desire as a human race to have more meaning. Who is hungry for more meaning in your life? I've gotten to the place several times in the last 62 years, is this all there is? Is this all there is? And that was the moment that God spoke to me and said, no, it's not all there is, but you have to suspend some things within yourself, release some things in yourself to create a greater meaning than the stories you're holding on to. C.S. Lewis talks about our souvenirs of hell. And this book, The Great Divorce, the bus pulls up to the gates of heaven every single day. And in order to get off the bus and get into heaven, you have to release your souvenirs of hell. your stories, your fish stories, your mythology that you have held. And they're like heavy rocks in our pockets. And those heavy rocks get pulled out, and we pass them around to anybody who's willing to listen to my myth. This is the one about my father. This is the one about my brother. Oh, how about one about mom? In order to get into heaven, I've got to release those souvenirs of hell. I have to release my stories. I have to release my mythology because I've given all the power outside of me away instead of claiming it for myself. It's not necessarily a bad thing that religious leaders have done this. It's indicative of our desire, our deep thirst and hunger for more meaning. And that, yes, it is a hunger and a desire for healing. For healing. So what's more important to you as you stand today? Healing or your story? Healing or your myth? Something good and holy and sacred that evolves your soul, that evolves the human race, or your story? You see, it's really easy to look at this idea of mythology from the macrocosm of our religious systems. Not so easy when we put it at our own doorstep, at our own feet, and say, I also need to lead the way. Not just look at the religious mythology, but the personal mythology that's in the way of the planet healing. Today's message is myth, mystery, and medicine. Say that with me. Myths, mysteries, and medicine. Now, I want to be real clear here today that I'm not calling these things myths because they are false. Get real clear here. I'm not saying myth because they are false, but because they are the byproduct of timeless realities. Eternal, immortal, timeless realities formulated out of our common need for what? To make meaning, to find meaning, to know purpose, to give definition, to create value to the mystery that we don't understand. And it's not just religious, it's the personal story that you're telling yourself right now, today. Breathe. There are spiritual myths. That is a hard word to say. Spiritual myths. Earth-centric myths. Stories about ancestors and heroes of long ago. Myths about God and what God did and what God didn't do. Legends about heroes and villains, victims and persecutors, both godlike and completely and totally human. What they did that was holy and good and sacred, and what they did that was egregious and dark. What happened or didn't happen is way less important to me than our ability to live into the mystery naked and make our way home by suspending our judgments, by being willing to be wrong. Uh-oh, it got personal. Yes, I'm all for it. Let's go into the Bible and let's tear it down piece by piece by piece to break down the mythology. That's good. Then we come over here, let's get into my life and everything I've ever said, everything I've ever done, every myth that I ever believed, every story I had about John and Sandy and Kim and Michael. No, I'm not going to do that because I like my stories. I don't want to get that naked. I'm just going to take off my shoes and my socks and let's poke fun at God. Let's poke fun at religion. It's not about poking fun. It's about uncovering the truth that's underneath the layer after layer after layer of meaning that we as human beings. And if we do it here, we must be willing to do it here. Breathe with me. Breathe with me. I don't feel you breathing. I feel you holding your breath. There are modern day myths that are sometimes made up right in the moment. Anybody ever make one up? Because I don't understand how you could behave that way. I don't understand how this could be happening in my life right now. I'm such a good person. So let me make up a story, an othering story of the villain and the good guy, of the bad people and the good people, of what God is doing here. I don't understand, so let's blame God for this, or let's attribute it to God. And meanwhile, God and Jesus are looking at the stories made up about them, and they're looking down at earth going, well, that's interesting. I have this image of Jesus standing somewhere, looking down at all of the things that have been done in his name, all the legends that have been perpetuated, and it's like, well, they kind of got close. It's close. And where does that approval come from? The Christ of life itself? Is the legend being used for something productive or destructive? Is the legend being used to divide, to conquer, or is it being used to unite and bring together? I don't care if the facts are all true, but I do care that the story is being used for something holy, something sacred. So the story that I made up about John and Sandy and Kim and Michael, is it a story that's uniting and bringing together, or is it a story that's dividing the earth? And then we come to a Unity Church and we feel so good. We feel so good about unity, oneness. And then we go out the door and we start perpetuating the same myth about the same people. We need to get off our high horse and tell a new story. We need to be willing to be wrong, to suspend our judgment and be willing to be wrong. Yes? Don't we love our stories? I love my stories. Oh, I've got a good one. I've got a good one that's going to make you cry. I got a good one that I can stir up and get angry and get heated and hot and justify my existence, justify my anger, justify my outrage. How's that working for you? Dr. Phil might say. How is the religious myth working for you that's dividing the earth? How is the personal myth working for you that's dividing you from somebody in the family? From somebody that you just don't understand. They're living in the mystery and you don't want to go there. We all do it. These stories give us meaning. Yes, they give value and purpose, whether they're true or not. But is it being used for something holy and sacred? Breathe with me. New mythology is emerging all the time when something we can't explain happens. And we make up a story about it. But here's the good news of the day. It's called grace. I'm not defined by my mythology of yesterday. I'm not defined by the wounds of the mythology of my experience in this church, XYZ church, or spiritual experience. I am only defined by one thing. What is it? The story I'm telling right now. You are only defined by the energy that you welcome into the laboratory between your ears. The laboratory and the library that is existing right here. You are only defined, you're one moment, you're one breath, you're one story away from healing your life. From the myth becoming medicine. From the mystery being transmuted through a different lens, here, and here, to becoming medicine. Yes? Change your story, change your life. These stories make up the mythos that is dwelling in the subconscious mind of humanity. Look around. How's it working for us? We might want to make up a new one. How's it working for you? The mythos that is driving the subconscious mind between your ears. How's it working for you? Bring it up, look at it, put it out on the table and go, you like what you see? Great, keep telling it. You don't like what you see? I might want to tell a new story. A constant story, an ever-present narrative that's giving context, connection to the past. They're important. But is that connection to the past based in anger and hatred and divisiveness? You might want to tell a new one. It gives meaning to the present moment. Sometimes the story I like to tell feels good in the moment, but it's the most destructive thing. I've made an enemy. Jesus said, love your enemies. In Unity, we say, you have no enemies. And if you've made an enemy, you need to tell a different myth, a different story, a different legend. And it's giving hope for the future. I have hope for the future because in this room are a bunch of storytellers that are not basing their life on somebody else's story 2,000 years ago. The person who's going, wait a minute, you got it all wrong. You got it screwed up. The person that is living in your skin, in your soul, in your life is calling. It's screaming for a different story. And I want that story. I want that hope for the future for each and every one of us. But there must be a new mythology. There must be a willingness to stand naked and be wrong. When those stories are used for creation and not destruction, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, they're all going, yes, you didn't get it right, but you're using it for something holy. And when we use it to tear people apart, whether it be war on a battlefield, or war in your family, or war in your church, or war at work, all those great masters and teachers are going, you got it all wrong. Maybe you can humble yourself and let yourself be wrong. We're all just making things up. You know that? This great mystery of life, we're just making it up. How many people have made up a story just today when you got into the room? You all did. I did. I made up 10 stories. I've already gotten rid of 5 of them. Why don't we make up a story that's holy, good, and sacred, and productive? That's not Pollyanna. Why don't I make up a story that's positive, that uplifts, that nurtures, that empowers? Why is it I run to the place of making up a myth that tears down and destroys and makes you the enemy? Guess who's in charge of the creation of the world and the planet? Because as it is for you individually, it will be for the whole. If you're telling a story that's divisive, guess what you're going to experience in your world? Divisiveness. As spiritual seekers, we need to be less concerned with proving or disproving anybody's narrative, anyone's particular religious or personal myth. They're not lying, but they're desperately trying to find meaning. So maybe we can suspend the judgment and connect at the level of the heart and find meaning together, even if it's uncomfortable. Even if we have to stand vulnerable and naked, we will find home together. I'm more concerned with how the narrative is making you kinder. Do I agree with 100% of what the Orthodox Christian Church is teaching today? Not even close, because I know 50% of it is made up by ministers who tried to create meaning, by leaders who tried to create meaning. And I can tear it apart, pick it apart, and throw it on the floor. What a waste of time that will be. Or I can go, how is your narrative making you kinder? How is your religious myth making you more loving? And how is my religious myth making me more loving? That's what I'm interested. That's when the mystery, the myth, and the hearing becomes medicine for the planet, becomes medicine for the soul. Everything and everyone in this world has a story beneath the surface. All of us. In fact, several of them. We don't necessarily share it. We're not necessarily talking our story out loud, but it's carried within us like a souvenir from hell. And it is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. The time has come to take the rocks out of the pocket and go, there's got to be a different way to get to heaven than continually telling the myth that's going on between my ears. Most of the stories we tell are based on a tweaked narrative. Most of the stories that we as human beings, not just ministers, are telling are based upon a tweaked narrative that maybe has about 50% of truth. We made up facts. We made up facts to fit the narrative. And then we believed it long enough. The story grew, and the fish story got bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly I have not just one enemy, I have 10 enemies. And I'm going around building my army to support my victimhood. Let me tell you a story, and boy, do we run to the stories of victimhood. I am a victim of this person. I am a victim of this circumstance. How's that working for you? You want to keep being a victim? You want to keep inviting things to be a victim about? Go ahead and keep telling that story. But if you don't like it, put it out on the table and go, today is the day I stop telling that story. You know, the thing about ministers, and I shared this first service very spontaneously, is yes, we get the opportunity, the blessed opportunity to expand, to blow things up, to make a point. But there's a consequence for that too, because I get to be the projection of every one of your stories. There are people that come to this church, I represent their father. I represent their brother, their last boyfriend, or the person who hurt them. Those projections are absolutely making up a story about somebody else without any evidence. Because I awakened something within you, the vulnerability. I asked you to come here and stand naked. And I stand here naked emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and we make up stories. Make it a good one. Make it a holy one. And if you don't like the story, why don't you go ask? Tell me your story. Tell me what's going on. What did you really mean by what you said? What did you really mean by what you did? That is the intimacy. That is the holiness that's going to get us home. 99 times out of 100, the story you've been living, you're going to go, well, maybe I was wrong, as the song said. I'm willing to be wrong. Most of those stories are based on a tweaked narrative that helps us create meaning to what happened. our willingness to look at the stories beneath the story, the mysteries underneath the behaviors, the words, the legends underneath all of life and creation is essential to understanding each other and finding a deeper home. Put your hand on your heart with me. Home together. Everyone is walking home. We walk the path of peace and love. We walk the path of forgiveness. Maybe we can walk the path of being wrong about Jesus, about Buddha, about the minister, about the person to your left, about the person to your right. Suspend your judgment of the legend and the ignorance that maybe that you put on that, and then we make our way home. And there is nothing easy about that, right? So what do I choose? My story or home? My justification, I'm right, or home? Again, Jesus is somewhere praying, holding the idea. Let them find home. They've kind of messed up the whole narrative. I didn't say that. Or I didn't say it that way. He said, she said. That's destroying the planet. Jesus is saying, use my legend for something holy. Use my legend for something sacred, for growth. As spiritual seekers, we need to be less concerned with proving or disproving anybody's particular religious or personal myth, and more concerned with how the narrative makes us kinder, makes us loving. You may not agree with one word that's in the Bible, but I know some people that are the most kind, loving people because they believe what's in the Bible. How dare I tear it down and say your myth is fake? And I ask the same thing in return for how I believe, what unity teaches, what I'm all about. Give me the same thing. What if none of it's true? What if it's all just made up to create meaning? Great, let's find meaning. Let's find connection. Let's find purpose. The legend can create medicine, or it can create mayhem. What is your story creating on the earth today? Take a breath with me. I'm less concerned with whether or not the story you're telling me is factual, and more concerned with what meaning you and I can garner as a result of your myth. And can we stand in the fire of possibility, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally naked on our collective journey home? That's the work that we do here. Put the pretense at the door. Leave the pretense at the door. And let's just get real. Religion is made up. We're making it up today. Let's make it a good one. I'm less interested if your personal myth can be proven in the laboratory or the history book, and more interested if it's proving out in the laboratory and the library of your life. That's the story I want to hear. Here's where I was, here's where I am, here's how I got there, and here's how you can do it too. That's it. Let me make up a story that says, here's where I was, here's where I am, here's how I got there. Come on, you can do it too, and let's do it together. Let's do it as family. I'm going to invite the band to come back up. Our collective and individual stories are only as valuable as our demonstration of their efficacy in making the world a better place. So let me ask you today, the story that's between your ears right now, the story that you're espousing maybe for the last 10 years, is it creating world peace? Is it creating peace in your family? Is it creating peace on the planet? And here's the thing, there's 100 myths that go through my head every day. I get to check them at the door of my belief system. I get to check them as the litmus test at the doorstep of my belief in oneness, my belief in the inherent value and goodness of all people, regardless of the story they're telling me. And some days, that is really, really challenging. But when I have the guts and the courage and the strength and the tenacity and the commitment to suspending my judgment about the legend that they're telling, something holy happens. It is only through mystery and madness that the soul will be revealed. I'm saying make peace with not knowing. Little music would be great. That's Thomas More. It is only through mystery and madness that the soul will be revealed. Is the story you're telling making your life more beautiful, more holy? Then keep telling it. I don't care if it's true. Keep telling it. But if you're finding the same progressive experiences time after time after time where you feel like this is life, you know, what is it Stephen Wright said? That if you're going down the road of life and the traffic is all coming at you, you might be going the wrong way. When the soul is revealed naked out of a willingness to be wrong and to suspend the judgment, that's medicine not just for you, that's medicine for everyone. That's the kind of community I want here, where we can just let it all hang out and go, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm becoming. I don't know if the Bible is 100% accurate, probably not. I don't know if the Quran is 100% accurate, who cares? I do know that my study of those words, those beautiful, holy, sacred words, has made my life better, has made me more loving, more Christ-like, more Buddha-like. So I'm challenging you today. If the myth that you are telling is shutting down the soul of any human being or any group of human beings, the time is to say, let's let it go. Drop the souvenir of hell. But if it's uplifting, if it's nurturing, if it's supportive, and you see it's bringing the offspring of kindness and love, keep telling it. I don't care if any of it is true. Keep telling it. Let's all be open to being wrong. Let's all stay open to the mystery as we stand naked and unafraid, ready to find home as a collective, not just in here. Because if you just do it in here, you've benefits about that big. Do it out there. Whenever you get the opportunity, do it out there, and you're going to get hurt. And when you get hurt, be careful the myth that you're creating to make meaning to it. Maybe it can be the meaning is simply, one person got a seed of my light and my kindness today, and I backed away. Not us versus them. Good people, bad people. That's not working for us anymore. I'm ready to find home as we, as a group of meaning-making machines, begin to create a new mythology, uncover new mysteries, and use it all to heal. That's the medicine that I'm calling forth from each of our hearts and each of our stories. We're going to go into meditation, and Justine Lawrence is here. She's going to lead us in meditation, but we're going to use these words. Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, Swaha. Say those with me. Om Tare, Tutare, Ture, Swaha. This basically means what you see up there. May the Supreme Goddess protect me and open my eyes to the light. Suspending the judgments, suspending the stories, suspending anything and everything but the voice of God. Let every voice but God's be still in me now. Let every view other than seeing and finding the face of God be suspended right now. Take a deep breath with me. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha. One more deep breath as we prepare to open our eyes to the light. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha. Set the story down. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha. One last time for the subconscious mind. Om Tare Tutare, Ture Swaha.
Let's take a moment to breathe in one more time and breathe out. We get in a comfortable position and we breathe in once more and we breathe out. In this moment, we visualize our safest moments. We visualize what it's like to feel protected, to feel free, to feel stable. We visualize the feeling of being in the arms of spirit, where there's no hurt, harm, no danger. And in this moment, we open ourselves up. We open ourselves to being naked spiritually, to feeling free, to feeling as if there's no judgment. We feel completely safe and secure in this moment. And in this openness, in this transparency, we allow ourselves to breathe in and take in the good of this moment. We visualize peace. Peace as it overcomes us in this moment of transparency. We allow this peace to permeate every cell of our bodies, to take over our minds, to live in our hearts. And in this moment of transparency, we experience joy. The joy of the moment, the joy in laughter, the joy that comes when we are completely safe, we are open, and we are transparent, as Spirit protects us in this moment. And this transparency allows us to feel love. We breathe in this love. Love is in every cell of us, from top to bottom, from head to toe. We feel love. This love overflows from us. There is love all about us, all around us. And in this moment, as love just permeates us, we sit in the silence and we concentrate on this beautiful love. There is healing in this moment of transparency, in this moment of openness. There is love in this moment. There is joy, peace. There is forgiveness in this moment. As we are naked and open with Spirit, taking hold of our oneness with Spirit and our oneness with each other, we see that we are better. We see that we are made better. And all of the attributes that we take in, that we see in ourselves, come from us as we begin to go about this day and live our lives this week. This joy, this love, this peace becomes us more and more each day as we remain open with the truth and open with who we are, open with our oneness with Spirit, transparent with Spirit, and transparent with each other. And with that, we say, amen.
Thank you, Justine. There was something that she said in her meditation, a beautiful reminder that love permeates from us, from every cell in our body. And I just thought, as we move into offering time, that love is in every gift that we give to this place, to this beautiful community, to our family. Every gift is a gift of love. Every gift is a gift of joy. And we thank you in advance for that. So as our ushers come forward, we're reminded there are so many different ways that we can give. We can give in the baskets that will be coming around shortly. We can put our consistent giver cards in the basket, scan the QR code, go to the app, go online. So many different ways to give, but each gift of love and of joy is seen and appreciated. And thank you for the prayer box coming forward. And all of the prayers in there are seen in wholeness. They are seen in light. So thank you for giving us that opportunity to love on you through the form of prayer. So together we are going to bless our offerings in advance by saying our offering blessing together. So please join me. I am so blessed. I am so prosperous, and it is my great pleasure to share of my blessings and to share of my prosperity. And in the giving, the entire world is blessed. Thank you, God. Amen. Please join us as we sing our offering song. And together. Harmony in the front row. So joining us once again, we have Carly Lyon with another original song, my friends. This time she is singing The Good Times. What a beautiful way to, as we start to end our service, to remember the good times. Please put your hands together and open your hearts for Carly Lyon.
For allowing me to jump in, never having played before. I enjoy being in your energy, and just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Don't wanna wait till tomorrow. Don't wanna wait till tomorrow for that sunshine to shine on me. Shine on me. For my body may be weary, but my soul's gonna set me free. Come on, mama, won't you let it be? Just as long as my body can hang around until the good times come around. Come around, come around, come around, come around, come around, come around, come around. Just as long as my body can hang around until the good times. 2, 3, 4. Hey, 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 listen now, children. In a world where sorry is sometimes hard to say, hard to say. Be kind and forgiving, and your soul's gonna set you You're most beautiful when you smile. You are never alone. You were never alone. You're most beautiful when you smile. You are never alone. You were never alone. In the dark night of your soul, inspiration is the coal, and one spark will light the road. Time is calling. Let wind be your wisdom. Come on, everybody, let it be. Come on, everybody, let it be. Be patient with your body, and your soul is gonna set you free. Be kind to your mind. Come on, daddy, won't you let it be? Let wind be your wisdom, and your soul is gonna set you free. Woo. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Carly. Does anybody else hear Carole King when she sings? Fantastic, Carly. Thanks so much for sharing your music. Up on our feet, let's make a little bit of music to end the service today. Love, if love spoke to you in any form today, whether it be through music or through what I shared or just the moments of silence, a beautiful meditation, let love speak to you in such a way that your heart's been set on fire, that you go out those doors as the fire of love, as the fire of God. I'm going to invite you to join us on this closing song, to take everything we've shared here today and to be fully present to the miracle of these words expressed through you, around you, and as you, together. I've learned to feel everything and live life open wide. One little rhythm, come on, guys. Now I feel everything. There's nothing left to hide. I've looked to the depths of me and questioned what was true. Looked to the depths of me and made myself anew. Love world with the fire that is love in you and as you. Thanks so much for being here. Go create a holy, beautiful myth today. We'll see you next Sunday. For those who would like to help, we're going to be resetting the chairs, stacking the chairs. We could use your help here right now.